What's up, YouTube? Angry Jackalope Raw Bricks. It's Saturday, September 1st, 2018. And as usual, as has been for the last, I don't know, fucking few months, I really don't have a whole lot of shit. There we go. Really to discuss. So I think what we're going to end up doing. Let's see, where's my fucking chat? Backwoods! In the motherfucking hell. Look at you. Early bird gets the fucking worm. Tenchi. Number 2. Oh, Tenchi got caught slipping. Backwoods beat you to the fucking punch. What's up with that? Just fucking with you, dude. Anyway, the Bronx Jackalope. Every time I say that, it puts a smile on my face. What's uppers? So, I got a... It's only going to be about another... Shit, it might only be a week. Next week, I might actually be in my office. Next Saturday, I might only be. It might only be this 1 week. I'm waiting to see. I have to make sure my kids are situated first.
Attention.
No.
Must evacuate immediately.
Uh-oh.
You now have 15 minutes to reach minimums.
What do we got here? Oh, closed tickets. Yay for me. If you couldn't tell by my deer in the headlight expression followed by stark fear when that sound went off, yes, I'm working right now. So if we hear that sound as we're going, I'm going to have to do a brief commercial break, as they will say, although I have no fucking commercials to run or anything. But yeah, just keep that shit in mind, because I am working. So this stream and the next stream, there is a high probability that something might pull me away. But if it does, just have to fucking, you guys get to watch me stress out. How's that fucking sound? Or if it's at a certain point of the stream, then the stream might just end. We'll have to wait and see if something big comes up, or for something small I could do, like in a couple minutes. You know what I mean? So next week we have Comic-Con, which is no longer called Comic-Con here in Salt Lake City. They got sued by the San Diego Comic-Con, which is gay as shit. It's fucking stupid. It's called FanX. So next Thursday we get to go to that. That should be a lot of fun. And that, I'm hoping to get some more art pieces to put up in the studio. I've got a couple of blank spots that I'd like to put some fresh new art in there. Maybe something with Thanos or Deadpool or Captain America or somebody. You know, maybe I could find something kind of cool. Maybe it's some Invaders Zim. I don't know. We'll see what we'll fucking find. Maybe something just completely different. Aliens, Predator. I think there'll probably be a shit ton of Predator art, because the new Predator movie is coming out pretty soon, and I am thrilled for that shit. But we'll talk entertainment stuff on the next show, on the Robert Ricks one. We could talk a little bit. What? Magic Ghost? Word up, motherfucker. We'll talk a little bit. I don't know if we're going to talk conspiracy to say, but John McCain recently died, and his body is on display, and you've got a lot of people saying some really rosy, flowery, nice things about him. And before I delved deep into conspiratorial waters, I liked him in the very beginning. And then as I dug deeper into his background and saw the shit he did to his ex-wife, you know, divorcing her when he found out she was chronically ill, and some other shit, I was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up, you know. Here's a woman that basically stayed by his side while he was a POW. You know, she never gave up on him. He gets back home, and then, but ow, how you like me now? Then, you know, you could say PTSD and all this other bullshit. But right after that, he got married to a younger woman. So, you know, who is his current wife, I believe, right now. And I remember back when I read about that, I kind of was a little bit disappointed, because I had liked John McCain, and I had liked the whole Maverick thing. But you delve fairly deep into the cabal that he was running with. It's kind of fucked up. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, but he did die. He had brain cancer, and he stopped treatment, and the day after he stopped treatment, he died. Which is kind of interesting if you're following the whole QAnon thing and you're looking at oh, a bunch of these people are going to get sent to Guantanamo and have a whole bunch of cock meat sandwiches crammed down their throats for eternity. He was on the short list. So I find it kind of convenient that he died when he did, because there was a whole lot of footage showing him for a long time with like a leg brace and a whole bunch of other shit, and it was kind of interesting because Hillary had a leg brace, and there's a fun little thread floating around out there talking about how they are quasi like house arrest type shit and some other stuff, but it's not verifiable. It's just kind of, I think a lot of people just have some wishful thinking and hopeful that you're going to see this big sweeping movement, and a lot of these motherfuckers are just going to, get swept over to Guantanamo Bay and just corn husked in a military tribunal, which could happen. I think personally that would be entertaining as shit, especially if they broadcast it. I could see all the little social justice snowflakes losing their shit if they thought Trump getting elected was fucking the end of their world. Could you imagine Hillary in shackles? Oh my god. Oh, I think I just got myself a chubby. I gotta stop. So yeah, some stuff. I mean, if you guys want to go down a conspiratorial rabbit hole and not come up for months, there is a wealth of information out there about the Clintons that, is fact. It's not speculation. You just, there comes a certain point when one guy dies around you, okay, that could be an accident. Two guys die, oh, that's just kind of bad luck. Three, that's kind of suspicious. And then you get 11 to 15 motherfuckers dropping dead. It's kind of crazy. So I've seen that Franklin got really political, not cool. Franklin. I'm drawing a blank right now. Give me a little background on that backwoods. I did see that Pence went up and said some words. And it's funny because I think everybody knew Trump really didn't like McCain. It was no, oh, Aretha Franklin. Yeah. Patti LaBelle, I think it was Patti LaBelle. She just died, right? That might have been that platform you're talking about right there. What's up, Steve? Hope you're having a great Saturday. I had Pence up there giving his words and whatnot, and it was kind of funny. I saw some of the left-leaning folks saying Pence sitting there saying these things is the equivalent to because what do you call it? McCain did not want Trump at his funeral, and I don't think Trump wanted to be at his fucking funeral, to be honest with you. And so having Pence there as the VP didn't really bode well. It was one of those things that people kind of got upset about. Talking about some bullshit political stuff. So some Democrats found out In-N-Out did a paltry $10,000 donation to the Republican Party, and they lost their shit and said, "Oh, boycott In-N-Out." To which a lot of motherfuckers in California was like, "You're fucking stupid. Fuck you. We're not stopping our In-N-Out." And I saw a meme floating around, and I pray to God that it's true. You can go in now to any In-N-Out and ask for a Republican burger. And what it is this big, gigantic fucking burger that's supposedly like a wall. And it has French fries, and they do the ketchup to look like Trump's hair. And then they have a big, giant Coke with like 24 straws in it. Straws are made in America, and they're like, fuck California, we got our straws. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I saw that meme, and I kind of chuckled about it. And that's what kind of flagged me that there was something amiss within the world of In-N-Out and politics. So it seems like everything is getting political now. Let's see. Backwoods says Bill Clinton sat next to Louis Farrakhan. Oh, well, I bet they were just having a grand old time. Let's see. What's up, Blake? Louis Farrakhan, that dude's fucking whack job. The Nation of Islam, the stuff that that he talks about sounds extremely outlandish and funny, with talking about the mothership and this, that, and everything else. And what might be truly ironic is the fact that, what if they were right? You know, so there's a lot of alien shit going on. There's a lot of spaceship stuff going on. There's a lot of just interesting things happening in the world today that can't be ignored anymore. Just kind of a feeling you can just go out and touch in the air. What's up, Garen? Um, yeah, exactly. You know, it's funny, Backwoods, when they talk, they try to do that to Chick-fil-A. You know, Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out, if I'm not mistaken, are both owned by Christian companies. And so by that fact alone, they're going to have more of a conservative leaning anyway, because of their stances on things like anti-abortion, things of that nature. So it's kind of funny that this Democrat tried to, flex a political muscle and try to boycott In-N-Out, which I'm like, you're fucking retarded. But, it did the exact opposite, just like Chick-fil-A. So, I don't know. It's just kind of dumb. I'm actually, to be completely honest, becoming really politically fatigued, if that's even more possible than it was before. I was already kind of disenfranchised and tired of the whole political arena duopoly bullshit that exists in America for decades upon decades upon decades. And then, you know, now it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Yet they praise Red Hen. Was Red Hen the spot that had the press secretary? She was trying to eat, and they kicked her out, or was it the black chick that was in there eating, and they heckled her out, which was reminiscent of the shit that happened back in the civil rights movements in the '60s. I can't remember. I know that Red Hen sounds familiar, but I can't remember exactly. There's so much of this shit that happens that it's just like, holy fuck, another one? Are you serious? It's kind of like even these, these bullshit shootings that happen, and it's like they love to villainize the gun and come back after us and say, oh, we're the bad guys because we want to legally carry, a gun. And it's just, it's stupid. So it's like, oh, some fucking nut job does something, and so let's try to do some gun control to stop crime by limiting the abilities of civilians to better protect themselves from the animals or the criminals that are out there trying to prey upon them. And if you look at the disproportionate amount of crimes that happen inside of gun control states, is really obvious to anybody who takes a critical look at it. Those fucking systems are failing for one very basic reason. Criminals don't follow the law. So you can outlaw the shit out of anything you want, but a criminal, by the nature of being a fucking criminal, is going to laugh, flip the bird, and say, yay, I got easier fuckers to go after here. Tinchy, Chick-fil-A goes in and out. An American porn burger goes in and out. I get it. So, it's just kind of silly. And it just continues to become a fucking circus. Exactly. That's one of the ones I was talking about. So the kid that shot that thing up, he had leanings towards Antifa. He wasn't Antifa, but like he supported him. He hated Trump. This, that, and everything else. I find the timing on that also very interesting because there is a very big Florida election happening pretty soon. And also, you're seeing some of the states before that were like really, I can hear you. You can, some of these states that are really anti-gun starting to lean a little bit more towards, you know what, fuck, we've been doing this stringent gun shit for so long, maybe we should let civilians have guns. There's some open carry laws that just recently got passed that were victories for the Second Amendment. But yeah, it was a gun-free zone, backwoods. Florida is no stranger to some of these mass shootings. I think there's been 2 or 3 mass shootings in Florida in the last, I want to say 4 years. But, you know, it's funny. We hear about these mass shootings, but um, what we don't hear about is the crimes that are prevented by just the presence of a gun. I saw somebody, I was I was on Facebook and somebody was trying to debate anti-gun stuff and they're like this was an absolute a gun's only purpose is to kill and destroy another living being. To which I said that is a very very infantile, absolute stupid way of looking at it. I don't know how many times a crime has been prevented and stopped by this action alone. Stop or I'll shoot. That's it. No trigger pull, no bang, nobody drops. People stop. They assess the situation. They say, I don't want none of that shit. And they back the fuck off. That happens all the fucking time. But you don't hear about it. You don't hear about it. There might be a little fluff piece on the fucking back page where somebody talks about it or something. But you don't hear about it. You know what I mean? I've actually seen... look at the school shooting in Maryland. Are you talking about the one where the concealed carry person shot the person, and they were like chasing him down and shot him, and stopped him from killing more people? I think that's the one you're talking about, Garen. Yes, sometimes a gun in plain sight would stop a crime. Well, also the fact that, okay, so let's talk statistics, for example. The state that has the least amount of crime in it, or the city, I should say, happens to be in Texas, and it happens to have something like a 95% gun ownership percentage. So let's stop and think about that for a second. If you know definitively, for a fact, that every motherfucker in your town is packing heat, okay? That's going to make for one very important thing, a very polite society. Because it's one thing if you live in an area where people have, predisposition for fistfights, right? You know, okay, well, if I mouth off, motherfucker might sock me in the face, right? It's yet a completely different animal when a motherfucker pulls a gun and you're like, motherfucker, what? And you're like, oh, yeah, well, I got motherfucker, what? So now you guys are like stalemate. Bitch, we both got guns. Hey, what kind of gun is that? Hey, I like that. You can go your separate ways. You know, same thing with swords. Same thing with, big fucking blades. That's why, for me personally, I don't get wigged out. I see a motherfucker walking with a sidearm. I go, okay, cool. I know a motherfucker here has a gun. My gun's out in the car. So this dude sitting with his girlfriend eating, if some fucking dickwad comes in the restaurant, tries to do some shit, hey, I'm going to duck and let homeboy fucking play Rambo. You know what I mean? So anyway, it's crazy. All right, Tinchy, later. Yep. It's, the resource officer. Yep, that was the one, Garen. That was the one I thought you were talking about. So... it's funny because if you take all of those anti-gun states out of the equation, the gun violence in America drops ridiculously low. So I always find it extremely hypocritical and ironic, especially with these fucking assholes that are anti-gun, but they're surrounded by guards with fucking guns. I'm like, all right, you believe so much in no fucking guns, then you guys walk around with fucking flowers in your hands. You know what I mean? Oh, no, you don't feel safe? Oh, why? Because us law-abiding people are the ones that go crazy and shoot a lot of motherfuckers, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. It's dumb. It's really dumb. So that stuff. I saw Bill Clinton had Ariana, I think her name's Ariana Grande, musician. She was up at the Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle's funeral thing. And when she was shaking her tail feather, Billy Boy had the biggest grin on his face staring at that ass, man. He was like, oh, yeah, snappity snap, shake the booty. You know what I mean? But they had Aretha Franklin up there singing, and he was just like this. like pass the fuck out. Like, no, that booty's making me fall asleep. So it's kind of funny, man. These people, these elite, they just make me laugh. You know, they just make me fucking laugh. The hypocrisy that exists is just mind numbing. You know, and I I had a good conversation with a dear friend of mine, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, it's gonna come a point we're not gonna take it anymore." I'm like, "Bullshit. We'll take it up the ass until the cows come home because that's what we've been conditioned." You know, we brought up the point that the original shit that went down in Boston that sparked off the whole Revolutionary War was over a 2% tax increase. Two. Let me count it out for you. 1, 2. Oh, in case we have some Latinos. Uno, dos. Oh, wait. We got some Japanese. Each knee. I could go on and on forever. You get what I'm saying? 2%. Okay? We're now, as Americans, our average is around 20%. If you're self-employed, it's at 40%. Then every good that you go out and buy, that's taxed. So really, your dollar is being taxed roughly 45 to 50%. If you're self-employed, it's probably closer to 60%. So, you know, it's our money already is stupid. We're not, your money's not going, our fruits of our labor is not being reciprocated and rewarded the way it should be. So when my friend's like, yeah, there comes a point that we're gonna get fucking tired of this shit, and I'm like, yeah, nope. Most patriots will not do shit until somebody pushes. If somebody is dumb enough to physically push, there will be a counter reaction. I told him, only thing that I foresee ever happening is if the fucking United Nations blue hats come running and they start trying to go door to door, then there's a fucking fight. Then some shit's going to go down. But as far as the American population rising up against its government saying enough is enough, yeah, not going to happen. Not going to fucking happen. Because there's too much programming. There's too much people on the government's tit. There's too much, I'll just be blunt, there's too much pussies in America now. Bottom line. I mean, here's a litmus test for you. In your group of peers, maybe not this particular group here on this show, but after I say this, you'll know other people who would probably be bleeding out the nose right now on this show. But find out how many people have actually been in a fucking fist fight. An actual fist fight. And have actually gotten their ass beat. Okay? Because that's your first pain threshold. Because a person who's got their ass beat and stood back up has the right type of mentality to talk that kind of shit. Okay? All these other motherfuckers are just mental masturbating, fucking circle jerk, fucking talking out their ass. You know, yeah, you got a lot of bark, doggy. Let me see you bite. Okay? But the first thing that always blows my mind, and I call them the little pussies, is the fact that there's such a it is so hard to have a rational conversation with strangers, right? If I walked outside, gathered a group of people up, and started talking about the problems that I see with government, as an example, there'll probably be, here in Utah anyway, there'll probably be about half the people probably shake their head and agree. Yeah, I agree with that. The other half, even if they secretly agree with it, are going to be like, no, not our, because it's a scary thought. And they don't want to have those scary thoughts. They want to think that we live in this utopian society, even if it's slightly marred, but still somewhat utopian, especially comparative to Venezuela, you know, other places that are so fucked right now they're eating stray cats on the fucking street. Incidentally, Venezuela is a failed socialism example. So, you know, a lot of times when people point to stuff like socialism and say, hey, I think free this and free that is a good thing. You have a lot of different failed examples to point to. Let's see what's back would say here. I got sucker punched just once, and he didn't eat solid food for a few weeks. There you go. So that's what I said. I imagine quite a few of the motherfuckers here have actually been in fights, been on both ends of the spectrum, ass kicked and ass kicking. But that just shows you that, you can't be a warrior unless you fought. You can't be a philosophical warrior because guess what? Just like a lot of times we're talking about blades and stuff, you don't know how good a blade is until it's been tested. And if you've never tested yourself, you really honestly can't say how you're going to be in a particular situation because guess what? You don't know. And it's not really your fault. Sometimes people, their brain just can't handle certain situations. They get into a thing and they break. It's not, and I'm not mad at those people. If anything, I'm glad that they found that shit out. That's right. There you go, 47 K. 47. I never know how to say your fucking full thing. 47 KCR. So break that down for me. But anyway, it's almost like Fight Club, right? When homeboy says, how much do you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? And that's a very fucking true statement. You don't really know what you're capable of until you're tested. And the sad truth about most Americans is the fact that they don't test themselves even at a basic intellectual level. A lot of folks end up doing the same repetition day in and day out and never expanding their fucking threshold, never expanding outside of their little bubble. And so, they'll have these strong opinions and shit like that, but they really don't know. And they make outlandish expressions like America is the greatest country on the planet, right? Okay, I share that sentiment. I do believe that America is something special, but at the same time, how can you make an absolute statement like that? America is the greatest country on the planet if you've never been anywhere else. Right? That's what I'm talking about. There's this. So when you hear these people talking this shit about, well, we're gonna make the government do what we want. It's the government of the people, by the people, for the people. No, stop it. Just fucking stop it. Steve says, life's been kicking my ass for 5 years. I still get up. Plus, been in many fights. I know for a fact. I know you fight shit on a daily basis, and that's also a character attestment. When you have really bad physical pain, you have really bad illnesses, and you still have a strong force of will and personality, that this shows you've got mental tenacity. That's a great fucking trait. Backwoods, hell, for that matter, ask all countries that got invaded and took over by their own country about gun control. Yes, that is another excellent point. They like to call Trump Hitler, but if you school these kids and ask them, okay, so tell me what happened to the Jews? How did they end up getting rounded up and put in these fucking train cars? How did that happen? There were guns there before, right? Yes, there was. And they got rounded up. And then they were told, hey, we're going to label you as a Jew by putting your religious symbol on your arm, which the Jews said, hey, that's not too bad. That's our religious symbol. We like that. And then guess what? Next step is we're throwing you in boxcars and throwing you in fucking gas chambers. Yeah, because governments don't do atrocities. Oh, China. Geez, China starved a shit ton, millions of motherfuckers after they rounded up their guns. Hell, in America, okay, guns taken away from the Native Americans. Okay. There was all kinds of shit that happened. The bottom line is the government is an abstracted form of potential tyranny, right? You can't judge a government with a current administration and say, oh, you know what? Like I remember when Obama was there, and everyone's like, oh, Obama, he's so great, yeah, so good. And everybody's like, oh, government is great. It won't do anything bad against us. Look, Obama, we got these Obama phones. We got this. We got free, blah, blah, blah. I was like, huh? Okay. Let's just take it at face value. Let's say Obama was really a super sweetheart, only had the best of intentions for everybody. But guess what? after 8 fucking years, regardless of how good or bad somebody is, there's a change of guard. And at some point, if you have slippery slope laws that were put in place and they were very ambiguous, suddenly they go, oh, we could take all the guns. You know what I mean? Let's see. That's true, but how many people come to our country for a better life? Let's see here. Oh, I missed something here. Oh, 47, Kyle, Christian, Rich. Oh, okay, cool. I get it. So that's just the letters of your name. Sweet, got it. Great. Just got a phone call from local dispatch. 16-year-old son got caught drinking at a friend's. Ah, fuck, Magic. Are you serious? That sucks. Backwoods. That's true. How many people come to our country for a better life? A lot. And you know what? And I welcome immigrants. America was made by immigrants. Shit, I wouldn't exist here in America if it wasn't for immigrants, being that I'm half Irish and half Japanese, right? Those aren't indigenous people to America. Can't criticize them for deporting a Nazi. Yep. See, do you see the switch of militias going from against government to with government? You know, hey, what's up, Jay? Birthday was great. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Do I see militias going from against the government to with the government? See, now here's the funny thing. I don't think militias in their heart are against the government. I think militias are preparing and making sure that if the government decides to go bad, they will fuck them up. That's the intent of militias. And if you look back to the Second Amendment, that's kind of what the wording of the Second Amendment is about, is for us to be well-regulated and armed and everything else in the event that the government or something like that becomes, too tyrannical and comes after us. We have a way to defend ourselves or fight back against it. I think innately militias are for the government when the government is doing the right thing. You know what I mean? So, for example, if say Mexico got a Woody and came in and said they were going to try to invade America, and our government's like sending our soldiers down to fight, you could bet your ass our militias are going to say, you need extra guns, motherfucker, we got guns. And if the government said, yeah, we need every able-bodied man, woman, and child that can carry a fucking gun to protect our borders from all sides. Canada's attacking us, Mexico's attacking us, fucking sea monsters with Aquaman are attacking us from the coast. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, at that point, definitely the militias would be like, dude, we're down. You know what I mean? Because we'd rally against any enemies that come try to fuck with America. I think an event like that would actually be great, because then people would really come together, because now we're not fucking fighting with each other over stupid asinine shit. Now there's an actual threat, and we need to come together so that we can survive that threat. I mean, that would be probably the greatest moment in America. It's kind of like Independence Day, right? When the fucking aliens came and everything, and it wasn't just in America. It was like all the countries kind of came together and said, fuck it, we're going to help each other out. So, yeah. Now, talking about some fun shit, my birthday was off the fucking chain. It was great. I got drunk. Really drunk. It was good, though. It was a good drunk. It wasn't like belligerent, fucking I can't walk and move type of drunk, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed that shit immensely. I wish I could have another birthday today, because it was fun. Exactly, Red Dawn. That is exactly right. And here's the funny thing. This is kind of conspiracy based. You can take this to the bank. A lot of times these fucking movies, there's coded messages there. They're not just movies. They're movies to fit an agenda. So a writer might have an inspiration and write something and he thinks it's a great fucking story. But it has to be made into a movie. And the powers that be will look at those the scripts and stuff and say, you know what, let's change it up a little bit. Let's do this. Let's put our little agenda in there and stuff like that. Because there is a little bit of sadistic evilness that exists in all forms of media where they tell the truth. They're like putting it out on display saying, hey, we're going to fuck you in the ass, right? And you're like, what? That's a fucking weird movie. They're talking about fucking me in the ass. And then when the shit happens and you're getting fucked in the ass, they go to bed happy because they're like, well, I did tell him I was going to fuck him in the ass. I gave him a chance to, put on some lead pants, but, he didn't listen. So now I'm fucking him in the ass. So anyway, do you have any 151? Nope, I don't have any 151. I have a ton of other shit though. I mean, oh my God, I literally have a ton of other shit. But 151 is not one I actually have in my pantry right now. Let's see, because people fight amongst themselves, then sneak in like Red Dawn. Yeah, there are coded messages on radio frequencies daily. Oh yeah, those numbers. Oh, the numbers. Yeah, that's been around since the Cold War. You've got sleepers, you've got active agents, you've got mundane shit. You've got guys that are punching numbers and shit and doing certain things, and they don't understand they're playing a piece of a bigger puzzle. They're getting paid to go check a mailbox, for example, see something, read a fucking tabloid, and then go and do a blog post about a cat or something, and they'll put on the image some shit, and they think that's it. They're getting paid good money to do this, what they think is benign, simple shit, but what they're unaware of is they just did a kill order. They just did, a fucking Black Ops message drop for something else, and they don't know, because everything is so compartmentalized that you do this little piece and you don't even know what role you play in the bigger scheme of things. Yeah, all the infighting with their leaders. There's some shit coming, man. There's going to be some interesting stuff. And what I find really funny, see, I'm kind of torn. On the one hand, I know for a fact that if Hillary would have been president, it would have been a bad, bad, bad day. It would have been really bad. Now, that's my opinion, okay? If you don't agree with me, that's great. We can respectfully disagree with each other. I don't care. But, because you're going to see where my point's going right here in a second. Trump didn't get where he got by himself. So now the question is, who's backing his play? And that's the shit that's really got me up at night, because those shadow figures have not had any light shined on them yet. And that's what's got me going, I suspect, me personally, again, my opinion, I suspect it's the Chinese. I think it's the Chinese. And now my friends will be like, no, Rob, China's pissed at Trump. And rah, 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 rah. I'm like, bullshit, lithium. What? Lithium. What are you talking about? Lithium. What do you mean? Trade wars? Yeah, bullshit. China can fucking halt the production of lithium, and it would fucking cripple so many of our critical infrastructure over fucking night. We depend on lithium batteries for a ton of shit. And China's got that shit cornered. So, yeah, China could fuck us really fucking quick and easy if they wanted to. Oh, but they're doing the Brussels sprouts and they're doing the... You never watch wrestling? It's just fucking theater, man. It's like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, two fucking behemoths going at it, picking each other up. Oh my God, he's got Andre in the goal. Look, you don't care. Andre actually hopped and helped Hogan throw him down, as is, typical with a body slam, right? It's a production. It's a theater, and in Russia, you see Russia and China, really working to kill the fucking dollar. They're really working hard to kill the dollar. And you think Trump and them are not aware of that? Come on, man. No, I'm not saying, hey. Hey, I didn't say wrestling is fake. Wrestling is fucking amazing performance. Those dudes get hurt. Those dudes fuck their bodies up. They do crazy shit. But make no mistake, a vast majority of that is production. It's fun. It's entertainment. I grew up with wrestling, man. I love wrestling. Wrestling's great, But when you watch the hits and everything, it's all to make it sound so much bigger, right? It doesn't hurt. It just makes noise, But it's the same thing. when you really stop and analyze the shit going on with China and everything else, there is no real trade war because they could win. They could beat us one move. It's not even a chess game. It's like, oh, you want to fucking piss me off? Okay. Push a button. Bye-bye. You done. Fuck America. It's that easy. China's got us by the short hairs in a lot of ways. You know, that's why I always said a real maverick would have came in and said, you know what? Yeah, all of those IOUs, all of those bonds, all of that shit that you have on paper, fuck it. No, we're not going to honor it. Fuck you. You don't own shit. You know, that's a maverick ballsy shit. Just telling all the other countries in the world, yeah, all the gold we're holding for you motherfuckers, that's ours. Yeah, come take it, motherfucker. What y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do? Huh? We all got nukes. None of us want to set them off. What y'all want to do, huh? That's some gangster shit right there. But it's just, that's what I'm saying. I really wonder who's backing Trump, because he's making some marvelous moves. He's making some moves that are very good. And I'm sure in some ways Trump is smart, but I have a very hard time listening to any of his speeches because my nose starts to bleed and my ears start ringing and I get really bad tinnitus and headaches, and I can't listen to a Trump speech. I just can't do it. It's like a caricature of a joke. It drives me bananas. Some of his speeches, very good. Those ones are ones that are obviously scripted. He's on point. He's reading a teleprompter. Somebody's wrote it, and it's great. But as soon as he starts going, and he starts to do the nasal thing, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. I can't do it. But I look at, I don't judge him based off of that shit. I judge him off of, what's the current unemployment, what's current, what's the current trade, NAFTA getting killed. I applauded that. I said, fucking A, good job there. Just the different things. Like, I like the way he's dealing with Russia. I really didn't like the way people were talking a lot of shit about Russia when I was looking at some of the things that Putin was saying, and I was like putting myself in his shoes, and I was like, you know what? Putin made a valid point at one point during the Obama administration where he said straight up, when we all had mutual assured destruction, the world was safe. But now with America putting all of these missile shields right at our doorsteps and everything else, that destabilizes things, because now there's a chance they can survive if we attack them. So now America is, in effect, destabilizing the world. And I thought about what he said, and I said, that's actually fucking pretty logical. That makes a lot of fucking sense, And so, why, Karen? What's going on? Why are you getting mad at your phone? China owns a lot of property and students in our university. Oh my God, Jay, don't get me started. We see buses and buses and buses of Chinese coming out here, and we're just like, why are the fucking Chinese in Utah? What the fuck is in Utah that would be of any fucking interest to Chinese? I mean, we got some mountains, we got desert, we got some pretty red rocks, but that's not right here where we live, and we see buses and buses and buses of this shit. Oh, that sucks, Garen. Well, you know what? This video is still going to be here, so any part that you missed, you can always go back and fucking watch it again. But it's crazy, and there's this shit coming. There's shit coming. We've had an influx of Hindus. The Hindus I don't really have a problem with. I think the reason you're seeing the influx of Hindus is they're cheap development labor. We have a couple Indian developers in the company I work for, and it's funny. They have no desire to fuck anybody over to get to another level. If they come in, let's say there's level 1, level 2, level 3, okay? And they train their ass off for a level 1 job, they don't want to fuck anybody to get to a level 2 or level 3. It is the most bizarre fucking thing I have ever seen. And I think it probably has something to do with the caste system that they've been raised in. If you're born into a certain caste, that's where you're kind of sitting at, right? But it's weird because here, you see motherfuckers crabbing each other all the time, trying to get to the top. Fuck the guy below me. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. Nope, not these Indian developers, not these Indians. I'm like, what the fuck? Now, granted, there might be some anomalistic fuckers that get influenced by Americans and suddenly shift their colors, but you get a hardcore motherfucker that's been in India and they just came here to the universities and stuff. Oh man, they are fucking thrilled to be working and doing shit. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's crazy, I tell you. The ones I worry about are the ones that have the long-term agenda for the radical Islam. The radical Islam is the one that worries me. I have some Muslim friends that are very, very cool motherfuckers. Some of the best motherfuckers on the planet that I know. I love them to death. But there's some other radicalized Muslims. They are playing some very interesting long chess. They are like, okay, we're going to take over this town. We're going to get political. We get enough people political inside of this little region here that when the major votes come up in 5 or 6 years for this other thing, we'll have enough votes for that. Like it's concerted. Those motherfuckers are not playing. We're not talking about the, crazy motherfuckers with the bombs on their chest trying to blow shit up. No, it's more like infiltration at a base level and pumping out fucking a shit ton of kids to increase their numbers, so that 2 or 3 generations down the line, they have a small fucking internal army for shit. It's pretty amazing, actually. It's pretty brilliant, actually. When I stop and analyze it, I'm like, that's fucking smart. That's very smart. But, yep, exactly. Like they're doing in England. Mm-hmm. Jay Hall says they pay cash for all their houses like they're doing. Oh, the Hindus that you might be talking about are the more affluent Indians. And those motherfuckers are assholes. That's the upper caste. The upper caste of India. Everyone I ever come in contact with, I want to punch in the fucking face. When we were at, it wasn't Disneyland. We were at Universal Studios. Oh my fucking God. You want to talk about some fucking pretentious ass clowns. These fucking cunts. Jesus Christ. They're just pushing people out of the way, standing in front of things, hogging the picture things. It just, ugh. It was fucking, ugh. Are you fucking serious? Ugh. So yeah, there's definite difference. Definite fucking difference. I don't know about Sweden. I'm not familiar about Sweden's situation. I do know for a fact England has a lot of immigrants coming through that are changing their system dramatically. And to me personally, as an American, I'm like, good. Let it happen somewhere else so I can point to it and use it as a litmus test and a fucking proof of concept. Oh, it can't. You don't think it can happen here in America? Look at jolly old fucking London. Shit. Let's see. When I was overseas, the best cabbie was an Indian because they took care of us. Yeah, like most of my Indian developers that I work with on a daily basis, and most of the Indian friends that I have that are here in the U.S., they're fucking awesome. I haven't had, in fact, with the motherfuckers that I have been working with in the trenches, I've never had an issue. I've never had an altercation. I've never had an argument. I think the only thing that I could point to is the strong scent of curry and some BO. But I'm not holding that against a motherfucker. You know what I mean? But all my guys have all been fucking respectful, super nice, courteous, professional as fuck. Super professional to a fault. And, the only time I've ever seen any of my Indian developers have any kind of a problem is if they're in over their head. They trying to start a business up and they're not used to that mindset. And some of that was my pushing. Dude, you should start your own business. You should get people under you. You think so? Yeah, do it. I don't know. Yeah, do it. But I don't know. You do it, dude. Trust me. Then, a few years later, motherfucker has people under him and he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, hey, I'm in America. I can't help you. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah, the Sikhs. Yep. Sikhs are fucking awesome. I love Sikhs. Sikhs, you don't want to piss a Sikh off too, man. You fucking, okay, man. Later, backwoods. You fucking, mislabel a fucking Sikh and you call them some other derogatory shit, you want to talk about warriors. Sikhs, Sikhs will fuck you up. And I respect the shit out of them. I like them. I like them a lot, you know. But that's only because I know one, two, three. I know three Sikhs personally that I used to work with, and they're fun because they'll take shit. They'll take shit to a point. You cross that line though, it's pretty fucking funny because they do know how to get down. And they're like, don't let it get twisted. The beard and the fucking turban and shit, I will fuck you up. So, big props to them. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like America is a beautiful place. There's the Gurkhas. Yeah, the Gurkhas. Let's talk about some fucking warriors. Jesus Christ, those fuckers, Nepalese. Yeah, the Gurkhas. Yeah, them and their kukris. America is an amazing place because we do have so many diverse cultures. I mean, there's a bajillion different Asian cultures. There's a bazillion different European cultures, and there's a lot of value in sharing each other's cultures and finding commonality between us and things of that nature. And it's a tragedy when one group of extremists fucks it up for a whole nother group. Just fucks it up for a group and says like after the whole 9/11 bullshit and oh yeah, it's all about these jihadists, blah blah blah. It's like suddenly anybody that was Middle Eastern was a fucking terrorist. And that's the problem. That goes back to that pussy mindset and pussy problem in America is so quick to believe the hype. There was a Public Enemy song back in the day called Don't Believe the Hype. And there's so much miscommunication, so much propaganda, so much bullshit that people just believe is ridiculous. Yeah, cultural appropriation bullshit. I hate that too. We should be able to celebrate each other's cultures, borrow from each other's cultures, find something that we like, embrace it, share with each other, and just be happy in that. And then you got this minority group, and I mean minority. We're talking a small, vocal, social justice warriors that will sit there and cry, that's cultural appropriation. Oh my fucking God, shut the fuck up. You have nothing better to do than to tear somebody else down because remember not too long ago, this girl went to the prom and she had, I think it was like a kimono or something. It was something akin to that. Something that was like a indigenous Asian wardrobe. And she loved the design. She was infatuated with it. She thought the culture was beautiful, and she wanted to share in that. And this poor girl got ran through the fucking coals because some cunt said, oh, it's cultural appropriation. It's like, man, I would love nothing more than to take a red-hot poker and cram it straight up that motherfucker's ass and just shut him the fuck up. Because to me, that's anti-American. You know what I mean? If somebody honestly is infatuated, like my daughter, I guess my daughter can do this because she's actually Japanese, so she can learn Japanese. But technically speaking, let's just say she wasn't Japanese. Let's say she was pure Filipino, let's say half Filipino and half Irish. Let's just say that as an example. But she became infatuated with Japanese animation, the Japanese culture, to the point that she taught herself not only how to speak Japanese, but to read the base form of the written language, the katakana, I believe, or maybe it was I think it was katakana, not the hiragana. So katakana, and she watches the anime and she like emulates some of the costumes and cosplay when she goes to these conventions and stuff. So is that cultural appropriation there as well? No, because she is embracing it and loving it and giving it the respect it deserves. She's not going into Google Translate and then saying those, oh, nandi nandesu ka. Like, she's learning the proper pronunciation. She's learning the proper syntax. She's learning how to say things correctly, not go and rely on some kind of a translator. When you see somebody that is investing that level of time and energy into something, that should be celebrated. That should be rewarded. That should be like fucking A. And here's the funny thing, guys. The fuckers that are crying cultural appropriation aren't even in the culture. That's the irony. Okay? Now, there are some Native American groups, for example, that would love very much for people not to put on a big headdress and walk around calling each other chief. I get that one. I get it. I understand that one. That is kind of a funky situation that grew up in a very racist environment towards Native Americans. I get that. But again, that's not necessarily cultural appropriation, right? And in fact, groups like Navajos would be best set to have some cultural appropriation to ensure the longevity of their dialect, which is dying because new generations aren't interested. Their own people aren't interested in learning the language. And so what's going to eventually happen is that language is going to disappear. So the Navajo language is going to disappear. Same thing like the Hawaiian language. You know, when I was in school in the early 80s, there was a real fear that the Hawaiian dialect was going to die out because people weren't teaching it to their children. They weren't speaking it to their children. It was only as there was a kind of a nationalism movement within the Hawaiian kingdom that they started saying, fuck it, we're going to learn our language. And now there's a lot of pride and prestige in ensuring their culture. And here's a funny thing. I've got a really good friend, and she's a Japanese gal, and her name's Shayna. She speaks fucking Hawaiian very well. She's fluent, like damn near fluent in the different culture and the language and everything else. And she's a big proponent to ensure the longevity. Now, is she culturally appropriating because technically she's Japanese and not Hawaiian? It's funny. It's funny. Like the girl who got offended by the cab driver having a hula dancer figure. That's fucking ironic and funny as shit. I love those little hula dancers. I had one and it got so hot the legs melted and it fucking bleh. But yeah, it's stupid. Right? It's stupid because, you know, that's not cultural appropriation. And somebody said, well, you know, you're making fun of a culture. Really, you know what? Some cultures would cease to be if people weren't making fun of it because they're so tiny and they're disappearing. If you become part of a bigger culture and then they assimilate those attributes and traits and they share it, you just end up having a better environment. You know what I mean? Where people actually know where they come from. They know their history and everything else. And it's all shared and people enjoy it. Not these obligatory shit like Black History Month and blah, blah, blah. It shouldn't have a fucking day or a fucking month or any of this other bullshit. You know, we should cherish each other's differences. We should embrace each other's differences and cultures and things of that nature. And just have kind of a mutual respect. You know, it's like, okay, you go to a party and there's a potluck and there's all this different fucking food, wide variety of different foods. No one tells you where the food comes from or anything. It's just fucking free food. Go try it. Well, you could be fucking nose up. I don't know any of this. I'm not going to fucking eat any of it. Or you could be brave and different, you know, and say, fuck it, I'm going to try it. And you might try 5 different things. You might only like 2, but guess what, motherfucker? If you didn't try it and you didn't accept it and, you know, try to intermingle with it, you wouldn't even have found the 2 things that you liked. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that with cultures. Instead of being so, it's like open, talk, figure out the differences between us. And if they do shit you don't really care for, fine. You don't care for it, right? As long as a culture doesn't come into America and try to force their ideology into the American mindset, that's where I'll draw a problem. That's where some of this Islamic extremism starts to become problematic, where they come in and say, well, we have our own Sharia laws, or I can't say the word, laws where we can kill a gay person or whatever. It's like, nah, motherfucker, you're in America. You follow American fucking laws. I don't give a fuck what you did. Let's see here. But trying to learn Cherokee is almost gone, and I'm Polish. Yeah, exactly. Fuck, man. You know, it's one of those things where if there's nobody to teach you, now you're reading from like a book, and now you don't even know if you're pronouncing shit right. You know. Let's see. My grandfather refused to teach my father Gaelic, and he was off the boat Irish. Yeah, Gaelic's another one. Gaelic's another one that's, you know, not a lot of people are speaking it outside of certain zones. You know what I mean? And it's going to run a risk also when you have a predominant language that kind of comes in, say English, and starts to push out other languages. You know, then you start to have problems unless it's a cultural thing where they're like, okay, fuck it, we speak the shit at home. We make sure. You see a lot of Asians maintaining their culture, and that's good for them. You know, I give them props on that. Steve, in my state, there is a city has the highest population of Arabs, and the majority of them hate the U.S. a lot, and a lot of them did also when I was in high school. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. If you have a group of people coming in that fucking hate us and everything else, and they're trying to change things, they're not playing by the rules. They should get their fucking pee-pee whacked. And I have no sympathy for those motherfuckers whatsoever. All right, so we're at an hour. We're going to go ahead and switch over. We're going to jump to the other machine here in a little bit for the Robert Rick Show. We're going to change directions, talk about some entertainment stuff. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me on a Saturday, talking this crazy shit. But this is our world we live in, so we kind of need to vocalize, talk about, kind of have rational discussion, not fear-based, fear-mongering, none of that bullshit, just rational conversations about stuff that exists in our world that we have to deal with. So that's it for now. If you like it, please subscribe, tell your friends far and wide. Until next time, motherfuckers, please be good to yourself, good to each other, go out, live life to the fullest, ride the bus till the wheels fall off, go have some adventures, get some scars, find some love and all that jazz. I will see you guys next Saturday. All right.